Okay, so when I moved from Hamilton to Ottawa, I met up with one of my friends who's a fellow psychonaut. Psychonaut is a term for losers like myself who like to experiment with the psychedelic state and explore their consciousness through using psychedelics. So, he asked me, okay, look, you know, I've known you, we've tripped together, you've sort of introduced me into the psychedelic world, and you've kind of been down that rabbit hole more than I have for the time being. What are the most important things you've learned? And I thought of right away on the spot, I thought of two things that the psychedelic keeps kicking my ass with over and over and over and over. Two things that just came to my mind right off the bat. If I had to summarize the last 2 years of experimentation with psychedelics, I would summarize it to these two things. The first thing first, let go. Let go. Learn how to let go. And do not get attached to anything in this temporary world, in this temporary dimension that we inhabit for the time being as a consciousness experiencing itself temporarily as a human, because we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So I remember this one trip that I had. I was on, actually it was my first time taking 5 grams of mushrooms, and it was February. I did it with a friend. He took 4. It was a February day. February is really cold in Canada, right? Like super fucking cold, like insanely cold. We're talking -20, -30. But we were having a mild winter that day, or that winter, so 2 years ago, right? 2 Februaries ago. We were having a mild winter, and it was not a bad day at all. It was like, you know, it was -5. It was -5, which is, in February, that's considered heavenly. That's considered summer. So it was -5, not windy at all. We went out to the lake, me and my friend, and we started like playing on it because the lake is frozen. But the thing is, the temperatures were rising, so it was on the verge of melting. It was not exactly the safest thing to be on the lake that day. But we just went there, we played, and we were playing, we were throwing snowballs and just really 2 kids playing, having a beautiful time. And then I looked at a crystal. There was a beautiful crystal there, right? Absolutely gorgeous crystal, right? A piece of crystal. And my friend picks it up. He says, look how beautiful this crystal is. And I look at it and I'm just completely like taken by it, as if I've seen the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Because at that moment, it really was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in that moment. And I looked at it and said, oh, this is beautiful. You know, I was seeing the little intricate details in it. It had the snowflake shape, and it really looked something magnificent. It really had sacred geometry in it. And I was so taken by it that I looked at my friend and I told him, I'm taking this with me home. Then, right away, another voice comes in, right, and says, and so this is what I told my friend. And then I look at my friend again and I say, no, you know what? I'm gonna let go of this piece of crystal. I'm not taking it home. This is a beautiful thing. We have experienced this beauty in the moment, but I'm gonna put it down here because I can't get attached to it. Because now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hold on to it. And I can't do that. I can't do that to the crystal. I can't do that to anything. So I looked at my friend and I said, look, I'm putting this down. And then I thought about this later and I'm like, well, you fucking idiot. If you took this home, it would have melted anyway. You know, like it would have melted anyway. So, you know, like me trying to hold on to this crystal would have failed me anyway. Like it would have melted. But in the time I was so magnified by it, I was so in love with it, that I wanted to hang on to this moment. And then this wisdom, this voice of wisdom, I don't know what that voice is. I think that's your higher self, the watcher, the observer, the Atman, right? Said, you know, spoke it in words, and you know, me speaking to my friend, it was, you know, a contrast between this egoic self that wants to hold on to things, hold on to anything in this world, hold on to its own survival and existence, and right away, right next to the next sentence that came up after, was this higher self saying, hey, don't hold on to things. Just enjoy it in the moment, and the moment's gone. You've experienced the beauty of it. Put it down. Don't get attached to anything. Be present. And I put it down. And really, this moment really stuck in my head. Really stuck in my head because of the lesson, the immense lesson here that is for me to learn, and I needed to learn in that moment, which is, don't get attached. You know, don't get attached. Be present. Be here. Be in the now. But don't get attached to anything, because everything is always changing. Everything is always changing. In the moment, I didn't think that, you know, if I took this, you know, my logical mind is not really there so much. When you're loaded on psychedelics, it's more of your intuitive higher self, right? It's a weird experience. It's hard for me to explain it in words. But I didn't logically think that, oh, by the way, if I take this at home, then it's gonna melt anyway. I didn't think about that. I just thought, you know, first thing first, I want to hold on to it. Then the higher voice, the higher wisdom said, you know, spoke to me and said, no. It spoke to me in the form of words to my friend. I said, no, you know what? I dropped it. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna hold on to this. This is beautiful. And for me to honor the beauty of it, I have to let it be. Really, I have to let it be. So I dropped it, and really, ever since, the lesson that keeps coming over and over and over and over and over from being exposed to the psychedelic experience, from being exposed to the psychedelic state of mind, which I am pretty much exposed to all the time because I microdose. The message that keeps popping up over and over and over and over and over every single day, every single trip, every single microdose, every single time. Don't get attached and let go. Practice the letting go muscle. Practice the letting go muscle, really, because it's a muscle and you gotta practice letting go of it. One of my recent ways of practicing this letting go muscle is, you know, moving to a new city altogether. Moving from Hamilton, which has been my home for the last 9 years, to Ottawa. And look, it's not easy. It's not always going to be easy. Like I talked to you guys in the announcement video that I'm having a little bit of trouble integrating. You know, it's a new city, it's a new environment, new circumstances. I told you guys, I'm not, you know, I didn't just simply let go of it like this. But, you know, I'm learning how to let go, you know, because if I don't let go, I'll suffer, because attachment is the root of all suffering. And if I don't let go and I don't stay here present into my new environment, my new surroundings, my new experience, my new way of being, my, you know, everything that's new here, then I would suffer because I'm still attached to the way things used to be. And it's a muscle. It really is a muscle. The more we practice it, just like a bicep, the more you work out on the bicep, the more it grows, right? And the letting go muscle is the same thing. The letting go muscle is a muscle that you practice over and over and over and over. And you practice it by letting things go. You start off by letting your ex-girlfriend go and let her go in peace. Letting your ex-boyfriend go. Let him go in peace. Letting go of your resentment towards your dad for telling you you're not good enough, for beating you up, or whatever it is. Letting go of your resentment to your mom for, I don't know, not loving you enough, or I don't know, you know, we all have these things. And you start to slowly let go. And slowly, and it's a muscle, and you practice that, you start to practice that every day, you start to practice that in the little things. And then you start to practice that in the bigger things. And over and over and over and over, you increase your presence in the moment and you decrease your suffering. Because I really think, you know, the Buddha really came up with the ultimate truth to life, one of the ultimate truths to life, which is attachment is the root to all suffering. And there seems to be a correlation between the psychedelic state of mind and Buddhism. I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a strong correlation, because there's something about the mushroom, there's something about these wise teachers, right? That always tells you, let go. Don't get attached. This is a temporary world. This is an illusion to begin with. And you're here to experience it, but don't get attached to it, because the rule of this illusion, the rule of this Maya, is the only rule. Change is the only constant in life. Sorry, I wouldn't say it's the only rule, but it's the only thing we can all agree on. It doesn't matter. You bring a Muslim here, a Jew, a Christian, a European, a gay, a lesbian, heterosexual, you bring anything, anybody, and we can all agree in this room of 100 completely different people that change is the only constant in life, and everything changes, right? Because everything changes. So there seems to be something about the psychedelic that goes along with that teaching, which is don't get attached and let go, because everything is always changing. And you go from smaller things to bigger things like your body and everything else in between. And then you become more present in the moment. So that's the first lesson. You know, that's the one thing for sure the psychedelic experience has taught me. The other thing, the number 2 thing, is love. 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 And whenever we get to love, we start to lose words. You know, you have a poet like Rumi, the Sufi poet like Rumi, who put what the experience of love is in beautiful, beautiful poetry and beautiful words. But over and over in his poetry, he would say in these words, in his artistic words, that I am trying to describe to you a feeling. You know, one of his verses, I'm gonna try and remember. Yeah, when I try to explain love, I'm helpless, you know, because you're helpless. You can't really describe it. I mean, you can get close to it. We have poets like Rumi who are trying to describe love. Then you have, you know, teachers like Ram Dass who try to explain what love is and try to explain to you the state. You have people like me as well who try to do that, but poorly, do a poor job at it. Because it's an experience. It's not something I can describe in words. At least something I'm not good at describing in words. There's some people that are good, like Rumi for example, good at describing it in words, really. And they can sort of paint a nice picture for you, but and they can help you get closer to the experience. But at the end of the day, it's something you have to experience, the love. And when I'm talking about love, I'm talking about universal love here. I'm talking about love for all of creation. I'm talking about love for all of beings. I'm talking about self-love. I'm talking about love for others. I'm talking about oneness. I'm talking about universal love to all beings and everything and everyone. Because you are everything and everyone. The oneness, the love. Love is oneness. Love dissolves all boundaries, and it's one. When you're in love, you're one. You're in love when you're in love with someone romantically, and you have sex with them. You're sexually intimate with them. You're intimate with them on all levels. You're one with them. You're one with them because you're one with yourself. You happen to be let's take a heterosexual example here, right? A male and a female. You happen to be the masculine male expression of the universe, of which you've created. She happens to be the feminine female expression of the universe, which, again, that's just you looking at you in another physical manifestation. And so love brings you back to your true essence, which is one, which is bliss, really. Because love is just so blissful, and it's the most beautiful experience you can ever experience. And we often experience that in a sexual context, but you know what psychedelics have taught me is you can experience this love in every single moment in your life. If you're mindful and contemplative and you meditate, and this is the whole point of yoga, by the way. The whole yogic system is designed in a synchronistic way to get you to be connected to the source of love, that is source of infinite love and wisdom and energy. And it's pure bliss at this point. It's pure bliss, it's pure love to all of being, to everything, to yourself and to others. And it's also hilarious because you realize, like, oh, this game that I've created, I'm trying to mind fuck myself all the time, all this time. And hence comes the cosmic giggle, which you experience on psychedelics usually at the beginning of your trip. You start to giggle and laugh hysterically, and that's the cosmic giggle. And because you realize this is all a game, and I'm just like playing this game to fool myself into thinking I'm separate, but really I'm one. So those are the two most important lessons that I've picked up from exposure to the psychedelic state. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. There's a lot more lessons, maybe micro lessons and other macro lessons, but I think these are the two basic ones for me. Those are the two basic ones for me, really. But there's a lot of other lessons too. I ought to sit down one day and come up with 10 powerful lessons, 10 powerful things from psychedelics, but those are the two basic ones, right? So that's it, guys. God bless you all. If you're gonna go experiment with psychedelics, please be responsible and really take your precautions seriously. Really take your preparation seriously, guys. Please, please, please take your preparation seriously. Okay? I have other videos on this matter, but really do your research and take them seriously. This is, you know, not a laughing matter, because you know, if you don't take your preparation seriously and you don't have the right setting, you'll be going on a visit to hell, my friend. You could be, potentially. Again, not, you know, well, it's not like I'm telling you you will, but potentially you can go to a visit to hell. So take your preparation seriously, and then you'll have a beautiful time, more than likely. Check out my free book, 5 Powerful Habits to Dominate Life in All Areas. It is the 19 most life-changing pages you can possibly read. Really, they're just compact 19 pages of pretty good shit that'll help you in all areas of life. Okay, and also check out my book, The Master Player, a practical guide to win the game of life, because this is a game and we're playing it, right? I actually wrote that book. You'll see links for the books, for both books, the free one, 5 Powerful Habits to Dominate Life in All Areas, as well as The Master Player. You'll see links for them in the description and in the comment as well. I actually wrote that book pretty much on LSD. Okay, so it's got a lot of powerful wisdom there, not just from my own human subjective experience in life, but from a higher wisdom. Okay, so it's a really, really dope book. TheMasterPlayer.com, 5PowerfulHabits.com. God bless you all, guys. I love every single one of you, but don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.